In October 2007, the Orange Box was released. It was a bundle of games including Half-Life 2, its 2 expansions, Team Fortress 2 and a new game of which nobody really knew what it was. That game was Portal.
Now you're thinking with portals.
Years before Portal was released, a group of students from Washington developed a very special game, Narbacular Drop. The students called their team Nuclear Monkey Software, and it was this game that began the groundwork for Portal. Narbacular Drop was released for free on the internet in 2005. In the game, the player controls Princess Nonies, who was locked away in a dungeon by a demon. In the dungeon, she meets Wally, a strange creature with one special power: creating portals. Players could create portals on non-metallic surfaces, which could help them solve puzzles and avoid obstacles like rolling boulders. Using these portals, it's her mission to escape from the dungeon. Although the game was short, it gained quite some popularity on the internet, mainly because it was the first time players could place portals themselves and use them. And shortly afterwards, a famous game developer noticed the game, and the people behind that were none other than the creators of Half-Life 2, Valve. Valve's president, Gabe Newell, was so impressed that he immediately offered a job to every member of Nuclear Monkey Software to work on a game with portals. Eric Wolpar was also hired to write the script, together with Chet Falazak. Because the team only consisted of 10 members, it was decided to fit Portal's plot into the existing universe of Half-Life, with the help of Half-Life writer Mark Laidlaw. By doing this, the team could reuse elements of Half-Life 2, and one of the first things created was the most special character in the game, GLaDOS.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer Aided Enrichment Center.
At the start of the production, it was decided that the player had to be guided by a voice in the game. At first, this voice was supposed to be quite friendly and helpful, with a sense of humor. Wolpar then decided to split the story in 3 parts, using this to change GLaDOS' character as well. The computer voice with the personality shift was created. Although she starts off nice and friendly in the beginning of the game, she later turns out to be quite an evil character, although she consistently stays funny.
Please be advised that a noticeable taste of blood is not part of any test protocol.
When the development team was searching for a voice for another character in the game, the shooting turrets, voice actress Ellen McLean tried out something new. Although the team didn't think it worked for the turret, they were really impressed. Together with Ellen McLean, they further tweaked her voice, and so the typical sound of GLaDOS was born.
For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from
Por favor,
donde fallan muchas gracias. Run back.
GLaDOS became the voice which helped people on their way through different levels and tests. Each test chamber uses a different portal technique, some of which were still reminiscent of Narbacular Drop. The concept came together and the team wanted to see if they could give the game a philosophical edge, a philosophical reason why GLaDOS reacts the way she does.
You euthanized your faithful companion cube more quickly than any test subject on record. Congratulations.
During a staff meeting, they asked themselves which philosophy to base their game on. It was silent for about 15 minutes until one of them jokingly told that a lot of people like cake. The result was that GLaDOS tells the player that they will get to eat cake when they finish their tests. And without realizing it, the now famous term, "the cake is a lie," was born. The most important element of the game, GLaDOS, was finished. The main character was named Chell, and her background story was deliberately kept vague. The environments were created, and the games could begin.
The Enrichment Center reminds you that the weighted companion cube cannot speak.
The player wakes up as Chell in a glass room in the Aperture Science building. GLaDOS' voice can be heard while Chell escapes the room through a portal. A series of test chambers follows, eventually introducing Chell to the handheld portal device, a gun that can shoot 2 different portals, blue and orange. At the same time, the player has a constant feeling of being observed by the ever-mysterious GLaDOS. GLaDOS' role becomes more and more obscure, telling lies about puzzles, manipulating Chell's fears, and constantly repeating that at the end of the line, the cake awaits.
The enrichment center is to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
And after the 19th test chamber, it looks like the game is almost over. GLaDOS starts congratulating Chell and once again points out that she will get a cake.
Enrichment center regulations require both hands to be empty before any cake.
When Chell then steps into the final moving platform, she realizes it leads into a giant pit of fire. Chell manages to escape the situation by using a portal gun. She ends up in the maintenance areas of the enrichment center, and GLaDOS is not pleased.
What are you doing? Stop it.
The tests are over, but the dangers are even bigger behind the scenes. Chell crawls through the moving machines and ventilation ducts, while constantly following mysterious signs and arrows on the walls. And after a long journey, Chell reaches the large chamber of GLaDOS.
Well, you found me. Congratulations.
While GLaDOS keeps manipulating and offending Chell with her words, the room fills up with neurotoxin gas.
So get comfortable while I warm up the neurotoxin emitters.
Giving Chell only 6 minutes to beat her enemy. By using portals, she guides rockets towards the hanging GLaDOS.
Destroy that part of me, unfortunately.
With each hit, the computer loses one of her cores, which Chell incinerates. And after the final core, it is over. Or is it?
This was a triumph.
Before the game was released, some elements were changed in the development process. In early versions of the game, the test chambers were actually colorful and filled with useless objects. But because test players constantly tried to use these objects to solve puzzles, the team decided to get rid of them altogether. The final result was that the setting became a white clinical environment, giving the puzzle elements the required focus. Also, the team wanted to create a third setting in the game, just before the players would reach GLaDOS, an office space. But because of time constraints, this idea was dropped, although some of its elements are still visible in the final game. Also, a totally different character was dropped, the Red Man. This man was responsible for the handwritten signs the player can see on the walls, which helped Chell in her journey. For a long time, it was unclear who wrote these messages and why, until Valve released a comic about Portal in April 2011, explaining his story. The comic showed that Chell was actually saved by the Red Man. After she beat GLaDOS, Chell was locked away in a cry chamber without power for her life support. The Red Man ran through the Aperture Science building and finally was able to divert power to Chell's chamber. Although she couldn't be saved physically, she would at least survive. And not long after that, her story would continue. Portal's development was a big adventure full of experimenting, and Valve never expected it to become such a big cult hit. After receiving only positive reviews from the press and gaining a huge following, the bar for the sequel was raised. The team was expanded, the challenges raised, and the characters further developed. After 3 years in production, Portal 2 is finally finished, allowing Chell to continue her even bigger adventure. Only this time, without cake.
It's been a long time.